Okay, so this woman posted a TikTok of her complaining about how she got a speeding ticket for $300 for going 101 kilometers per hour in an 80 kilometers per hour zone. And the reasons that she gives out, an excuse for basically why she sped, is possibly one of the stupidest reasons she could ever give out. And she's super ignorant, super delusional, and we're going to be reacting to this video.
I got a speeding fine because I was going 100 kilometers in the Cross City Tunnel when it was 80 kilometers, and apparently there are cameras in the tunnel.
So the first point I want to make here is, how the fuck do you even go 100 in the Cross City Tunnel? So here's an image of the Cross City Tunnel. You can see there's only 2 lanes with no shoulder at all. It's quite a small tunnel indeed, and yet the speed limit there's 80. Compare that to the West Connects, which was only opened a couple of months ago, which is 4 lanes wide, and it's also an 80. And yet, like, no one uses it. It's always this quiet. So I can't imagine how you're able to go 100 in a tunnel this small when you're only supposed to go 80 in a tunnel this big. It just doesn't make sense. Let's keep watching.
As an American, I got a license.
And of course, she's American.
Here without taking any tests, without.
Okay, so I think the government should change that, because we all know that Americans are stupid people. I think we should mandate that all Americans applying for a driver's license here should start on the L's, just like any regular Australian out there.
Like learning about the Australian laws here.
I don't know what kind of delusional mind you are coming in from, sweetie, but I think America, it's also legal to speed, especially 20 kilometers over the speed limit.
And I didn't realize that you guys have like cameras for speeding in the tunnels.
I'm sorry, sweetie, but yeah, there's cameras, not just in Australia, but in like pretty much everywhere else in the world. Let's get up a speed camera sign, New South Wales. Let's unfortunately, yeah, you didn't see that. You didn't see that sign. You didn't see that. The billions of signs that exist with a giant image of a camera with the text clear and bold, speed camera ahead. Like you couldn't read that.
And apparently there are signs everywhere.
Yeah, apparently there's signs everywhere. You just answered my point.
But it's like I'm so focused on driving, I'm just...
I don't know what you're so focused about driving, considering you're driving in a tunnel with absolutely no one in it, but okay.
I'm just freaking...
This was at midnight, by the way.
You know, stressed out as I'm like trying to navigate where I'm going.
Okay, that is a fair point. City roads are terrible in a way where it's very difficult to actually navigate your way around. Because city motorways, especially the ones around the city, and especially the Cross City Tunnel, they can be very hard to navigate. Even with Google Maps navigation sometimes doesn't work in tunnels, so it gets really confusing sometimes in tunnels. I do agree that navigation is quite stressful and quite difficult, because I have gotten lost here a couple times before. It is quite easy to get lost, because there's this exit, that exit, there's not that many signs telling you which way to go. So yes, this is a valid point. Navigation is quite hard here in Australia.
Especially driving for the first time in a different country on the other side of the road. In America, like if you run a red light, there will be cameras, maybe, but...
Oh yeah, maybe, because America's the freedom state with no laws, and you can do whatever the fuck you want there.
If it's for speeding, it's like a police officer with, you know, with the little machine that tells a police officer if you're speeding or not.
Basically what a camera is like the little machine thing that a police officer would normally hold. It's just the camera's active 24/7. He doesn't need a police officer to stand there. It's practically the same thing. You're trying to deny a fact that it's basically the same thing in the States too. It's just, you know, it has to be with a police officer. But here, like, it's a camera, a speed camera is basically the same as a speed camera, like, what you call it, speed radar gun thing in America. They're practically the same thing.
So, I'm actually really surprised that this happened.
I'm also, I love the irony in this photo, is because literally there's a sign there that literally says 80.
So the fine's $295. I thought I was like winning that day on Thursday because I was...
Honestly, $295 is actually really like not that much to pay. It's actually a very small amount to pay for going 20 kilometers over the speed limit. And also, I looked at the, the sheet. She only lost 3 demerit points. I think she has an Australian license. That's, I guess, what she said at the beginning. But you only lost 3 demerit points for going 20 over the speed limit. I thought it was like 5, which is quite a lot. But in Australia, the punishments are really fucking strict. Like, running a red light would be as costly as going 20 over the speed limit, which I think is unfair in my opinion. If you're going 20 over the speed limit, that's just basic ignorance, and you probably already know what you're doing is wrong. But with red light running, sometimes you just want to try beat the light, but then you couldn't make it. That you couldn't make it in time, and there's literally nothing you can do about it but to keep going. At least with speeding, you can literally just stop. It doesn't make sense, but
going
yeah,
to
whatever.
Fashion Week events, and I was like rushing to get there, I guess, and I thought I was saving money by driving and not Ubering, but no, it's actually more when you get a fine.
Yeah, try to drive properly next time, then it'll be cheaper than getting an Uber.
I was borrowing this car from a friend, and
That's even worse, actually. Imagine speeding in someone else's car.
he was like, Sophia, I cannot lose 3 points over this, so I have to transfer this into your name. I was like, yeah, that's fine. Like, I'll pay for it.
Oh yeah, you do realise that Australians only have 12 demerit points, and if you lose all 12, then you lose your license, and demerit points only renew every like 3 years or something like that. So yeah, it's quite a lot. There's just like 1/4 of the amount of demerit points you have, and you have to wait like quite a long time for them to replenish.
And I'll get the points deducted, but I wonder if I should fight this, because it's like, you know, it's my first time driving in the tunnel.
Yes, because it'll be really easy to fight a speeding fine for going 20 over. If you're going 2 kilometers over the speed limit, then yes, you can fight that, but not if you times that by 10. Because it's your first time driving in the tunnel. Because yeah, true, America doesn't have tunnels because they're not the type of country that likes building tunnels. Like the only tunnel I know is the one in Seattle, but like, and the one in Boston, but like that's it. There's no other tunnels. Maybe New York has some tunnels, but that's pretty much it. Valid point. America doesn't have tunnels, so it was your first time driving through an underground space. Claustrophobia.
No. It's just my first time. Like, I'm still getting the hang of it.
Oh, yes. It's like, you know, the first time driving at all. If you're recklessly driving 20 over the speed limit, I don't think you should be driving at all. Like, if you're going 20 over the limit, even if it was your first time, they should have just taken away your license by this point.
Anyway, Bryce was like, you know, this is unheard of. Like, no one goes 101 kilometers.
This is true. No one goes 101, especially in a tunnel with no shoulder at all, with the lanes, only 2 lanes wide. That doesn't count as a lane. That's just an emergency pickup lane. With only 2 lanes, it's practically unheard of to actually go 101 in the cross-city tunnel. It's just only luck here because this was at midnight. There was no other cars during this time. But literally, in any other part of the day, it would be practically impossible to go 101.
In an 80-kilometer area, like pedal to the metal. Now I'm starting to think maybe I shouldn't get a car.
Yes, that is a valid point. You shouldn't get a car. You shouldn't ever drive a car. You don't deserve a car if you are this ignorant.
Because it will just lead to more problems like this.
Thank you so much for being self-aware. Honestly, good job on being so self-aware.
The thing is, I'm better at driving when there are other cars around
Okay, what?
me.
How?
Because then it shows me what speed I should be going.
Hey, lady, yeah, there's a little sign that's on top of you. I know in America it's a little different. I know, maybe you're illiterate. Maybe you have to limit sign America. Maybe you have to look at the speed limit 50. You know, maybe you have to look at that, but, yeah, I don't think it's really hard to identify that is the speed limit. Like, come on. Okay, why the fuck? Okay, I didn't know that Canada uses maximum. What the fuck is that? Why maximum? Okay, of course I'm a European kind of guy in a way where European signs are always better than American signs. But Canada, you're even worse. At least in America, USA, at least it literally says speed limit. What the fuck does maximum mean? Oh, maximum 50 people in a car. What the fuck does maximum mean? That's even worse. Canada, you're like a tier down from a USA. You don't deserve anything, Canadians. What the fuck is maximum?
But like when there are no cars around me, it's kind of hard for me to register what side of the street I should even be on.
What? You're unable to identify what part of the street you're on. Oh yeah, maybe because Australia drives on the other side than America. Oh wow. It's kind of hard to perceive things like that. It's kind of hard to comprehend driving on the other side of the road. It's really hard to do that, actually. Like, yeah. Like, yeah, I know Australia drives on the left side of the road, and that's not on the right, so it should be keeping right. Yeah, you fucked that up too. You're driving in the middle of the road. You fucked that one up. Can't really go any worse than that.
And I'm not even looking at the speedometer because
You're not looking at the speedometer. Then what are you looking at exactly? You're unable to look at the side that tells you what the speed limit is, and you're unable to look at the speedometer. So what exactly were you looking at? Your mobile phone? Well, that's another $500 fine for you.
I'm like focused on the road because
But you weren't able to look at the speed limit. So how could you be focused on the road if you couldn't see the giant bold numbers of 80 with a giant red circle around that?
I don't want to crash into the walls.
You're going 101. Of course you're going to crash into the walls if you're going 101. 20 over the speed limit.
You know what I mean?
And you're also driving in the middle of the road. Like, well, because there's no shoulders on the side of the road. Oh, I can't drive because oopsie doopsies, I'm going to hit the side of the wall. My god. If you're driving in the middle of the road, going 20 over the speed limit, then I don't think you'll ever be able to fight this in court. Like, you step 1 foot into the courtroom and they'll instantly tell you to get the fuck out because how are you able to even fight this at all? Oh, it's my first time driving here. Well, it's your first time parallel parking here too. You crash into 50 cars when you parallel park. Oh, you're gonna fight that in court? You can't. I can't believe how ignorant this lady is in a way where... What the fuck are you doing? Why are you making a TikTok basically just announcing and admitting that you're a terrible driver? Like, honestly, the fact that this lady is so delusional in a way where she doesn't actually understand how she fucked up is a little concerning to me. Like, dude, this lady doesn't even understand what she did wrong. And that's a little concerning in my opinion, you know? Take her license away. Never let her drive again if she doesn't realize going 20 over the speed limit is wrong. Thanks for watching.